Hello, it's Randy Duck and welcome back for another replay. Today I've got 3 replays to show you in the Tier 8 German premium tank destroyer, the Skorpion G. Now if you want to see the equipment and crew setup I am running in this tank, you can see that at the bottom of the screen as I speak. So I had a few requests to get a replay out in the Skorpion G, so that's what I have for you today. Now the Skorpion G, I hadn't played it for a long time if I'm honest, and I've forgotten how fun it is. It is a fantastic tank destroyer. It's got a brilliant gun, 490 alpha with 246 penetration on your standard rounds and 311 on your premium APCR rounds with 1150 shell velocity. I must admit I play this tank very much like, I probably play it quite aggressively at times. You know, I do play it like a medium with a big gun. It doesn't really have the hit points, but you've got a rotational turret and you do have decent mobility. I think in terms of concealment, you know, it's not the stealthiest of TDs, but I have got it down to 295, so it's not bad. And here we are on the first replay of Karelia, where I am playing a little bit more like a traditional tank destroyer at the start, and I'm just, so you can see, covering the cross. We managed to get a nice shot into enemy heavy tank. We can see some blind fires, and we actually managed to, we see some shell tracers, and we managed to blind fire that tank, picking up our second penetration. But we have to be careful ourselves that we don't get blind fired back. So, you know, once we've fired, we're just going to pull back into cover, and that's why we're using this big rock to our left as a bit of protection. And really hoping the artillery doesn't just start blind firing this location, because that's exactly what I would do if I was in the enemy fun police. Is just, you know, blind fire where I am, because quite often there is a tank destroyer using that spot, and it's a fairly easy one to predict. But also, it's quite a good location to cover. So it's kind of a bit of a slow start at this game, because like I said, we don't have much hit points, so I think it's best I just wait and just see how this goes. I'm just trying to, again, another blind fire. You can see where these shot tracers come from. Just keep an eye on that, because it's always worth just, you know, just because you can't see them doesn't mean they're not there. You know, we already picked up one blind fire at the start of this game, but the enemy team are starting to push forward a little bit now, and we are getting spotted. So we're trying to pull back here, but now we are detected. We are a little bit concerned with the enemy artillery might, you know, start targeting us, so we may have to consider falling back. But right now I'm trying to trade out shots to this enemy medium, which I bounced at the start of the game. We do trade 1 for 1, but with this 490 alpha you really hit hard. So I'm kind of winning the trade, although I don't have the biggest of hit points to begin with. But he's now a 2-shot to me, so would like to squeeze another shot in, which we do straight through the turret, putting him onto a 1-shot. But as you can see, the artillery is alerted to my detention, my position now, and I'm no longer safe here. I'm just going to die if I stay here. So I lose my spot, and I'm just hoping I can try and escape. You know, the medium tank gets a blind shot on me as I leave, and it's just hoping that I'm going to escape from this situation, because if I stay there I'm as good as dead anyway, so I might as well just at least try and leave. Thankfully we do. We lose our spot. We are onto a 1-shot now to a lot of the tanks, which is far from ideal, but at least we've managed to, you know, fall back. And my plan is, as the enemy team are pushing down and probably winning this side at the moment, we can try and pull back and cover our team as they make the advance, just what we're doing here into that enemy tank destroyer, which does get spotted, putting them onto a 1-shot to us, and hopefully we can try and finish him off, which we do, picking up our first kill of the game, putting us under 3,000 damage with 1 kill. Still a very, very even game at this point, but this is where, you know, it becomes well. We get a really nice shot into that IS, which sets them on fire. And I think we pick up our second kill, do we? No, we leave him on the sliving of health, but we're then able to finish off an enemy Lover, picking up our second kill and putting us under 4,000 damage. You can see how quickly he can rack up the damage in this tank. We are losing though at the moment. It's 7v9. We are a couple of tanks down. It looks like we haven't done too well on the other side either. So I'm just going to stay patient right now. I'm considering going to the other side to cover them coming in, but also I want to try and cover our friendly tanks down the bottom, just in case they try and push forward and give us a shot, just like this tank has. But unfortunately, well, no good. Just the mouse breaker kills the Sturmpanzer for us, and now we've got an enemy T29 coming around the corner, and we're going to wait in case this tank pushes out into the open. We can squeeze in a shot into them. The enemy team have the hill control, and we are kind of pinned back at this moment, but the game is not all lost at the moment. We're going to hold on as much as we can. We get a lovely shot into enemy T29, picking up our third kill of the game, putting us on the 4,500 damage and somewhat evening up the scores. But it looks like our team are now pushing the hill and starting to win the hill, and my plan is to push over and help my friendly team, because if we win the hill location, I'll then be in a good position to defend our base from the hill, and that's my plan, bearing in mind I don't have the most hit points, so I'm hoping just to try and get into a spot where I can mainly cover our friendly heavy tank, in our base location. As we move around, we can see an opportunity to get our 4th kill of the game, killing the Emil, putting us into 5,000 damage and bringing the scoreline back to an even Steven 5 versus 5 with this one-shot medium tank still on the hill. Shame I bounced that shot at the start of the game, or this tank already would have been dead, because the problem I've got is I want to try and kill him, but bear in mind I'm on 300 hit points, and I suspect there might be tanks covering this medium tank, so if I get proxy spotted by this medium tank, I could get shot from a distance, or shot from enemy artillery, which you can see is just shooting at our friendly mouse breaker here. So I've got to be very, very careful not to get detected by him, and I'm trying to pull back into a different location and see if there's any way I can figure out a way to kill him. I'm really hoping the mouse breaker takes him out, if I'm honest, because it's just going to make our life a lot easier. But an enemy tank gets spotted in the middle. We should be able to pick up the kill. There we do, confirming our 5th kill, only picking up a tiny bit of hit points. He does get shot by a mouse breaker first, but we're now back to a 4 versus 4 here. 5 kills, 5,000 damage, or just shy of 5,000 damage, and we just, it looks like our friendly tank destroyer is moving into the enemy base. So I'm suspecting he's going after the artillery, and that might, maybe even bring some tanks back to defend their base. But I'm just waiting to see if that medium tank was coming around behind us. But he's not. He is in the middle here. One of the enemy tank destroyers in our base won't have a shot at us here. So we're thinking, what, we're going for it. This medium is probably distracted by a mouse breaker. Let's just try and take him out, get rid of this threat, and hope we don't get shot from a distance. We do take him out, confirming our 6th kill of the game, putting us on 5,200 damage, and only 1 tank remaining. And we are just hoping, I think it's an enemy ISM. We don't know how many hit points he has, but we do know where he was located, near our base. And we're just trying to pick up that Devastator by picking up the 7th kill of the game. He's actually a one-shot to us. He gets shot by the IS-2 as he goes in and kills our friendly IS-2-2. Now he's a definite one-shot to us, and we're just racing ahead. But we're quicker than the mouse breaker, so we're hoping we can get there and get this 7th kill. Could be a nice way to finish the game. It's sort of one of those games where I guess it showed the importance of falling back at the right time. I guess probably the best thing to take out of this replay. But hopefully we can catch out this ISM, as you say, who is a one-shot to us. He's just above this location. We swap to the small mini-map so we can see exactly where he is. He gets detected. We're aiming in our shot. Unfortunately, the mouse breaker just beats us to the punch, and we don't get that Devastator medal, which is a shame, because this replay does end up being a first class, although it's a high XP, 1,900. I think we would have squeezed in that 7th kill. It would have been the ace. But that's it for replay number 1, but 2 more replays to come. So let's move on to the second replay of the video. Okay, so here we are for replay number 2. This time we are on Live Oaks, where there is no enemy artillery, 2 enemy light tanks, and it is a tier 8 matchmaking. So we're going to go and play the right hand side, the train tracks at the start. Now it is tier 8, and like I said, I do play this tank fairly aggressively, even though you don't have that much hit points. You do have a big gun, so you really do. Tier 8s, when you fight tier 8s, you're free shot in a lot of the tanks. So you can rack up damage very quickly. You don't necessarily have to play it as aggressively as I do, but that's just tends to be how I play, because I get very impatient. I just want to get into the game. Thankfully, you do have good mobility on this tank, with a top speed of 60 kilometers an hour. I do run silent driving on it just to help me lose that little bit of concealment value on the move, as I do like to move around. And you can see it doesn't really struggle to get to its top speed. So as we make this advance, there is actually quite a lot of enemy tanks this way as well, and it looks like we're going to be in for a real fight. I want to try and create a secondary angle here. I move around on the right. Now ideally I would have liked another tank to come with me here, but most of them I've held right back, which is kind of what happens most of the time. And I'm in a good position here in the sense that I can get lovely side shots in while they're distracted, like we did in that Progetto. problem is the enemy team full send over to us, we could be in a problem. Now, we have a lot of guns covering us, so like, for example, if this medium tank pokes up, in theory he should get shot by quite a lot of guns. That's the only thing we've got going for us. But we're just trying to squeeze in these shots as well as best we can, just to get as much damage in as quickly as we possibly can. Tanks like this, you know, you can see he does get shot there as he pokes, and we straight away pick up 1,000 assistance. We're getting a lovely shot into that Tiger 131, putting him onto a one shot, and picking up our second penetration of the game, and still the assistance is coming in. You know, this it's a risky play, but sort of, you know, calculated risk. It's worked out okay for us because you can see we are the tank spotting all these targets and picking up the assistance. But we are careful because we're getting hard aim, and we know there's an Iron Rain there who can take away our hit points in a flash. So we do have to be careful, and I'm being conscious not to over peak when I know the attention is on me, and just sort of wait, you know, as best I can. Enemy Italian tank over peaks to get a shot into us. We're now pulling it back to make it as hard as he can to get the shot in for us, and he gets taken out by our friendly Vindicator covering us from the distance there, which is nice. We still got all our hit points at this point, and we picked up 2,000 assistance, 1,500 damage with 10 enemy tanks remaining. You can see we know that Iron Rain is still looking to get shots into us. If we ever find a way when he's dumped his clip, and we're going to be able to poke a bit more easier. We'll reposition just to make it a bit harder for the Iron Rain to shoot us as we target that enemy tank destroyer there, and picking up our fourth pen, putting us under 2,000 damage. We're going to try and finish him off. We should have the kill here. We do, and we pick up our first kill of the game, and we're starting to take control of this game, and it's starting to end in a way where it's going to be more of a landslide. But I feel like our aggressive position sort of paid off in the end. We started to pick up a lot of damage. We get a nice shot there into the Iron Rain on the open, putting us under just shy of 3,000 damage now. And at this point, each time we're poking, we're getting a shot away, which is really nice, just to keep that damage coming in. Should be able to finish this enemy T28 there. We do, picking up our second kill of the game. Got a 5,000 combined game now. Only 6 tanks remaining, so this game's not really been on that long, to be fair. We get another shot in, putting this tank onto a one shot. He should get finished off by our friendly teammates, and we're just moving in now. We eat a shot from that enemy SDA2, and then we eat another shot, which I guess is from a tank destroyer there, putting us onto 422 hit points, and we're now on 4,000 damage, you know, 2,000 assistance, only 4 tanks remaining. Just about getting as much out of this game as we do. Get a lovely shot there into SDA2, and we're moving forward now. Maybe we could have waited a little bit, because we do eventually spot the enemy G-Saw, which finishes us off. We would have waited a little bit longer, we might have got a shot in, but we were kind of pushing forward really to try and get the that extra bit of assistance, and we still might just do that, and we do pick that bit of assistance, so you know, it wasn't really the end of well for that death. And we go on to have a good game, considering it was very quick. I think it's like a 4-minute game that time, and all what's left is one enemy light tank which gets shut down by our friendly Skorpion G, and that is end of replay number 2. So let's see how we got on. We do in fact get 2 kills, 4,500 damage, 3,000 assistance, picking up the ace tanker here and the high caliber. But let's move on to the final replay. Okay, so we made it to the final replay then on Vineyards, where there is 1 enemy light tank, 1 enemy artillery, and it is tier 8 matchmaking. But interesting about this replay, we actually spot that one of our friends is on our team, Dino, and we've known him for a long time. Very, very nice guy, playing in the G-Saw. And we're not talking to each other, it's just a pure fluke. We found each other in the same game, and we both go on to have a really good game, and interestingly do a bit of teamwork, considering there's no comms. It was just that when we know each other, we know how we play, and we're able to work together. And it's one of those games where we really actually did need each other in order to get the victory, to be honest with you. So I do a pretty standard play I like to do on Vineyards from this board, is take this location, initially just try and deal with any of the light tanks which do things like this, and thankfully that light tank gets, aim at Shaffy, gets taken out very, very quickly, which is good for us because it's going to just free up, you know, make it like life a little bit easier for us, not having to worry about getting spotted. So we do get a nicer shot in and camping in TDs, and this is why I like this position to start, because you quite often get tanks on this building and you can get a few blind shots in, or if they get detected, you can get these shots in. And this is my initial starting location. You see we pick up another blind shot there, putting us onto 1,500 damage, and we started this game really well. Still a close game, well, it's only just started, but even at the moment, 14 versus 14, and so far so good. So again, we're just waiting to see if anything gets spotted. We try and get a shot into the stern. Unfortunately, it does not penetrate, but then we pull back somewhat, and we're just keeping an eye on our surroundings. You see, we're just checking what tanks are to our left. We're not going to worry about those tanks on the left at the moment, because if we try and poke there, we've got no armour. There's going to be easy pens for us. I mean, we're not a tank which can play hold down, so we're just going to wait for them to come into us before we do really anything about that. So we're waiting again on our reload. Our light tank is playing aggressively here, which is good for us because now he is spotting these tanks up in the distance. Get a nice shot into the Borsig, squeezing that one in for a 4 penetration, putting us under 2,000 damage, and it just shows how quickly this tank does bring up the damage with that sort of 8.8 second reload, 490 alpha, and that's really the highlight of this tank. Is that gun is very, very nice, and it's really good even in tier 10 games. You've got the penetration to pen them, and also they really feel a chunk is taken out of them when you hit them. Unfortunately for us, we get shot for the first shot of the game by that ISU, and he is taking a lot of our hit points away. We are now down to 300 hit points, and that's far from ideal, to be honest with you. 2,000 damage, and I'm thinking at this point we're kind of losing this sort of location. It felt like I don't really have the hit points. I think my best bet, I thought, was try and pull back and maybe try and cover my friendly teammates. At least that's my plan. So I'm going to try and pull back, bring the enemy team into us, and then we can try and get the shots in as they come round, and maybe go back to being a more traditional tank destroyer. So here we are, we're setting up now. So if these tanks over peak like this Rhino is, we're in a good position to try and get some shots in. And we do get a nice shot in. Unfortunately for us, it only does the critical damage. The tank can be a little bit derpy at times, but with the APCR, you makes up for it. It's not too bad if you do fully aim your shots. Do get a nice shot though into that Rhino, and he gets taken out by our friendly platoon mate. Well, not platoon mate, our friendly friend Dino in the G-Saw there. Now we're down to what, a 9 versus 11, so we are losing this game at this stage. I'm going to try and set up to cover the other side as well. I can kind of cover both locations from here. I have been pushed back slightly, which is never ideal. I don't really want a whole team to get stuck and pinned in one corner, because we do lose all the map control then, but it's just felt necessary. The VK gets taken out, but again by a friendly mate Dino in the G-Saw, and brings us to a little bit more an even game, but it's quickly sliding now to an 8 versus 10. Hopefully we can try and get the finishing shot into this tank destroyer. We're just looking for that shot. He's behind a wreck. It's a little bit awkward, but we just stay patient. We should be able to squeeze in the kill shot on this Borsig, which then might give us a little bit more freedom to try and push back to where we were. We do get the shot into Borsig. We get detected for it, and I'm just trying to get out of dodge here and get safe as quickly as we possibly can. Lose our spot, and then we can go back and see what we can do. So on 2,800 damage, 2 kills here, and it's into a 6 versus 8. So we kind of always felt like we've been losing this game, or struggling to keep this game even from the very get-go. But it has still been an even game. It's always a bit more fun, aren't they, when it's not just a complete landslide. So now we're going to push up, and you can see our friendly friend Dino in the G-Saw's pushed over this side as well. We're going to try and clear this out, so we're not completely pincered, and then we can go back to defend the base if need be, which is probably quite likely to happen, but we don't want to get stuck in one situation where we just got no map control whatsoever. So I probably am going to need to defend the base, but I'm also just trying to push forward and clear out one side. So enemy tank destroyer is getting taken out, what it looks like, by Dino there in the G-Saw. He does confirm the kill on the ISU. We do have now cross shots, these tanks crossing. We try and squeeze one into Sturv, which we do nicely, putting us under 3,200 damage and 2 kills. And now into a 4 versus 6. And we're going to try and sneak around to see if we can kill this Sturv, because he's very close to us. He's going to keep us detected at that point, and that's not really ideal. And being on 300 hit points, being a one shot, I kind of felt like he was chasing me down, so I pulled back, try and get over this ridge to try and get closer to Dino, so if I do get full scent, hopefully he's not on reload, then he can try and help us out somewhat, and we can try and, you know, deal with the threat together. So unfortunately the enemy team have started to cap pressure. We've still got plenty of time at the moment. Need to try and kill this tank destroyer in front of us, but artillery, as you can see, is now beaming in on our location, so we don't like that much. We try and just lose our spot, so the artillery, you know, doesn't get an easy kill. But then we notice this full health medium tank coming round, and to be honest, at this point I feel like we're dead. But we get one shot in, he misses his shot, so we've got another chance to get one in, but that's not going to be enough to kill him. We need Dino to get a shot in as well. Thankfully Dino gets that shot in at the same time I hit him, and then we're able to survive. If he didn't get that shot in, then I would have been dead. Artillery is now trying to kill us. We lose our spot here, and we're now in a 2 versus 3 with the enemy still having the artillery, and they have the cap pressure on. So it looks like Dino is going straight to get the cap reset, and I was kind of thinking, well, if he's going to go and spot them, then maybe I should be in a position to shoot what he spots, because thinking, you know, I'm on one of the least hit points. That was my plan. So I'm waiting here to see if anything gets detected. Unfortunately, we didn't get an opportunity to shoot that medium tank before he gets into cover, but I was hoping that maybe I could, you know, if he spots them, I'll be able to get the shot in. That was my logic at this stage, but the clock is getting very, very close now. 8 seconds left, and I'm thinking, have I made a mistake not by just full sending in at this point? And I'm thinking, oh, we're going to lose. But thankfully Dino gets that lovely shot in and gets the reset. We're able then to get a shot into the medium tank, putting him onto one shot. Dino finishes him off, and it's only one enemy little piggy, one fun police left to deal with, who's made it a little bit easier for us because he's driven into the middle of the map. So we get one shot in there, putting him onto a one shot to us, hoping to try and squeeze in the 4th kill of the game and get that little bit of damage, tipping us over the 5,500 mark, and we do, and we bring that to a victory in the end. And that was a really nice game because it was fun, because I was playing with someone I knew, and yeah, we had just a decent game. You see, Dino had a really good game as well. 7 kills, 4,000 damage. I get 4 kills, 5,500 damage. Not the ace tanker, even though it's probably the bigger out of the 3 replays. But we do get the first class and 1,912 base XP. So that's it for the replay in the Skorpion G. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. And as always, happy tanking.
Enemy in sight. Hadouken!